Hey everybody, and today we'll be focusing on how to paint the neophyte hybrid with a coal icon up to parade ready standard. Yesterday, I did it up to battle ready standard. For this, we're going to show you how to take it up to parade ready. So, the first thing we're going to focus is the face, or the flesh. For this, we're going to take a black and black. And then you may be wondering why we're using a black and black already. It's because there's a little tube that runs in your nostril. I'll show you where. So, be very, very careful. All you're going to do is going to do this very, very carefully. See, you can see the tube kind of runs in their ear slightly. Oh, let me get some paint off. Sorry about that. Should have thinned it down a little bit. So it's technically free, but it isn't. Okay, so continue on. All we need to do is going to do it very, very carefully. Here we go. All right, that's the nostril tube done. Now, we're going to start highlighting the skin. Just a second. Okay, so continuing on with the face, we're now going to highlight the face. So for this, we're going to be taking our fine brush again. For this, we're going to be using where is it? We're going to use Kislev flesh. Check up your paint. Take a little bit of Kislev flesh and just put it on the table, or my spare table. So for this, we're going to highlight the edges. So for this, we're going to look at raised details, such as the brow, such as the bones right here. Right here on the ridges, and also on the brow. Nose. And repeat for the other side as well. Maybe a little difficult, but when you come to this side, always make sure to highlight the roofs of the mouth, like kind of like this. Don't know if you can quite see, but look, right here. Same for over here, put the tubes in the way. And also make sure to highlight the chin. Which is what we're going to do. And the ear, which is right here. Alright, that's the face highlighted. Alright, so now, all we're going to do is we're going to highlight some of the print. You don't need to highlight on contrast paints because you don't need to necessarily hide them, but you can if you want to. So, all we're going to do is basically, we're just going to highlight some of the things. So, for this, we don't need much color at all. All we're going to do is, for highlighting, we're going to do the silver, the brass, the brown leather, and the extra detail on the face that you might not notice. Oh, we also have to shade the thing. Sorry about that. Okay, so since I use Caliban green naturally for clothing highlight, we're going to use this Warpstone Glow. Now, if you want, you can just leave the clothes unshaded, but I highly recommend using a shade. I just didn't use it because I didn't want to. And also make sure to highlight the little pouch on their pants as well. Alright, and on the outside of the clothes, there's a little bit of the recesses right here you need to highlight. So, right here. Alright, there we go. That's the clothes highlighted. Alright, for this, we're going to look at the brass. For this, we are going to use a wash. Oh, wait. Oh, sorry about that. I actually need to do the thing with brass just a second. We're going to take brass scorpion. And the reason why is because when you go up to battle ready, you need to make sure you check to see if you have any unpainted details. For me, I did some right here by accident. But don't worry, we're just going to fix it. For this, I'm going to just take a nice brush. Just a random one. And always for metallics, you need to thin them down slightly, but not too much at all, or else you'll lose that metallic effect. Oops, sorry about that. So all over where you missed where there's spots, just do it all over the brass. Now, if you wonder why I use lead belcher for a base coat, is because you can't. That's how it's commonly used. But you can also use Balthazar Gold then brass, which I highly recommend. But of course, you can just use brass over the lead belcher. Okay, that's the brass repainted. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we're going to focus on the gun casing, on the gun holster. For this, it's the little pistol on its side. So instead of more firing, we're going to take a wash. Or yes, we're going to take a wash. For this, you can just use where is it? We're just going to use Nolan oil. This is the new Nolan oil, so it has a lesser pigment effect, which is pretty nice. Alright, with the wash shaken up. Okay. Take some wash. And for here, we're going to focus right here. And also, we are going to use a wash on the clothes. I know I said that, but don't listen to that. Just add a wash to the clothes as well. Wherever you see clothing. We're going to shade the metal. This section right here, the brass. And then for the metal, for the silver bits, like on top of the gun casing and the magazine. A little bit on this leather right here. And you can do one more right here on the cloak if you wish. Alright, there we go. So, now, all we're going to do is, since our brass is almost done, we're going to focus on a different detail. For this, we're going to be focusing on the purple part of the flesh. So for this, we're going to take a contrast paint. Dreadful Visage. So, this is a new contrast paint, and if you're wondering, you could use Magos Purple and thin it down with some contrast medium. I prefer to use Dreadful Visage because their color is more pale, and it's a perfect purple tone. Actually, scratch that idea. Sorry about that. We're actually going to take Magos Purple. Where's my Magos Purple? Oh, here it is. Sorry about that. Magos Purple. I just realized that Dreadful Visage doesn't have the proper pigment. Sorry about that. Okay, so we have our Magos Purple. And where's my contrast medium? Okay. So for this, we're going to take some contrast medium. My pot's almost empty. I'm going to have to get more eventually. It's kind of thick and chunky, so not very good, but again, it works. Alright, so when you get the contrast medium, always apply it to your palette first, and then wash off your brush so you don't contaminate the contrast paint. Wash off your brush pretty good, really good. And you can take a brush full of contrast paint. Right, a little too much. There we go. Nice thin down Magos Purple. Alright, so now we're going to focus on the face. For this, we're going to be focusing on where you see the veins on the back of the head. So for this, we're going to go right here. And don't worry, you can just use heavy, but I prefer to use the whole top of the head because that's where you mostly see the veins on the genestealer cults. All right, that's the purple done on the top of the head so far. Now we're going to focus on even finer detail. All right, so let me make sure I have this first. Yes, I do. All right, so we're going to take some Xerius purple. So, we're going to use a fine brush. For this, I'm going to use my 50. So, basically, you want very, very little paint on the brush as possible. And thin it down since this is for technically freehand. So that way it looks nice and seamless. Nice point on the brush. All right, so for the back of the head, we're going to focus on doing the veins. So for right this. When you do the veins, I highly recommend that you do not keep them extremely thick. Make sure to keep them nice and thin. And don't worry if you do make them thick by accident, don't worry. You can just fix it later. All right, that's the head done. All right, so with the brass now dry, we're gonna start with the brass. For the icon, it doesn't need much. So for this, all we're gonna do is straight highlight. For this, we are going to use Sycorax bronze. And where's my fulgurite copper at? Hold on just a second, please. No, it's a shot. Oh, here it is. Fulgurite copper. So, for this, shake up the paint. Nah, never mind. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. And make sure for a paint like metallic, sometimes it'll be like in two different things, so we'll make sure you shake up your metallics very good as well. All right, there we go. So all we're going to do is we're going to start highlighting the call icon. So for this, all we're going to do is we're going to start highlighting. For this, we're going to start with this. Start inside the edges right here, so that way it gets a nice brighter shiny finish. Now, if you want, you could skip the fulgurite copper and use Sycorax bronze, but I prefer to use the fulgurite copper to add like an extra depth on the brass. So when I do this one right here, I'm going to highlight the bottom half. The bottom half, leave that alone. So for the inside of the edges, we're doing that with the fulgurite copper. So now we're going to do the same on the other side. And I already did the same right here. So make sure on the inside only, just do that. And also, if you want to, you can also do it on the edges right here. So on the front, like this. All right, that's the brat. Oh, wait, no, sorry about that. And also make sure to highlight the occult icon as well. And you can do this all over the thing if you want. All right, that's that done. All right, next we're gonna highlight. We're gonna go to another brass color. For this, we're gonna use the brightest of them all, Sycorax bronze. So all we're gonna do, check out the paint real good. And it may not look like it, but Sycorax bronze is actually a bronze. It may look silver, but it's actually a bronze. It's like sometimes when you get like copper sheets, like for a magnet experiment, and sometimes what is it? Yeah. Okay, once the paint is shaken up, take some Sycorax bronze, put it on the palette, and just make sure we don't use too much. So for this, we're going to start with Sycorax bronze. Here, we're going to start right here. Okay, that's the brass. That's the brass almost done. Actually, no, wait. Oh yeah, the brass is done. Okay, so we would add a wash, but that's going to dull our metallic. So, but for this, that's basically all it. So, this concludes today's tutorial on the genestealer cults, and I really hope you enjoyed painting your neophyte hybrids with the cult icons up to parade ready standard. Now, this is just Twisted Helix, but of course, you could use it for any other, like a tribe for the thing for the cult icon. I really hope you enjoyed this genestealer cults paint tutorial. Bye-bye.